Hey, what's up? As web developers, we know the importance of SEO, right? And even with NextJS 13, best SEO practices, like always adding an alt tag to your images, are enforced. However, at least I tend to just leave them empty because I'll come up with an alt tag later. It's just for development and other hilarious jokes you can tell yourself. So I came up with an alt tag generator that uses a machine learning algorithm from Replicate to take an image or multiple images that you can just drag and drop in there and then generate an alt tag for each image, delivering it back to you. Let's take a look at how this project works. It's open source, it's completely free, so you can also dive into the source code and take a look at it yourself. And then I'm gonna show you a bit of behind the scenes where it's hosted and the technical infrastructure behind it. Hey, so here we are, and if you watched the last video, you might recognize this input component. However, a lot has changed. In the last video, I just talked about this this input component itself, but now this is a complete overview of the entire project using base64 communication with an API, and it's hosted on AWS. So let me give you a short and sweet overview. What you can do is take an image from your desktop, and yes, sometimes it does that, I don't really know, but when you reload the page, it works just fine. So you can drag and drop an image into this component right here, and within seconds you get back an alt tag. So a man with headphones on holding a turntable. They're not perfect, but for the most part they are pretty good. So this is a picture I got from Unsplash or Unsplash, I'm not sure. So there are people on the beach, which you barely see, by the way. They look just like rocks. But the crazy thing is that this machine learning algorithm actually recognizes that and then says a beach with people walking and laying on the sand, which is really awesome. So even very nuanced details are recognized by this algorithm. And I think this makes working with alt tags way easier. You can just take multiple images, even drag and drop them in here as long as they're in the zone right here. Then they're each being uploaded and processed, and you get back the alt tag that you can copy and paste. Now, there are two problems I have with this application. Not everything works perfectly. One feature that would be cool is a copy. So you can just click and then the alt tag is copied, and also the download as CSV. And as you can see, I implemented a little tooltip saying available soon. So just for some better user experience. So there are two problems I have with this app. First one being, you might have noticed by now, the URL is really ugly. And because I hosted this on AWS, I had to get used to how to handle routes on AWS or URLs. And you do that through an AWS service called Route 53. Now, the process is not hard to do, but there are a couple steps involved to get your own custom domain when using the service I used to host this NextJS 13 app, being Amazon. Here it is, AWS Amplify. So essentially, when you want a custom domain on Amplify, you go into your domain management and then you can add a domain right here, add domain. But depending on where you host your web service, it's like a bit easier or a bit harder. And I apparently hosted my website in a web service that makes it a bit harder because I cannot change the name server myself. So if you want to try this app out, I think I'm gonna post the URL in the description and the comments, but it's gonna be the very weird URL for now because it works. And then in a day or two, when the URL has successfully migrated, then it's gonna be the real one. One quirk of this is that right now you can only upload 5 images. And yeah, sometimes oh no, okay, that was because I didn't drag it into the plus zone, never mind. So let me make a bunch, yeah, you need to drag it into the plus. Okay, that's maybe not a perfect user experience. I'm not gonna spam the API because this will count towards my quota, but you can just generate 5 images until now, and that's one quirk of this application. However, let me show you a bit of how this is built under the hood. So I made it really easy for you to expand on this because I used a template from someone called, and I'm gonna make this code larger for you so you can see this better. The application is built with a boilerplate template from someone called ShadCN. So you can check out that repo on GitHub as well. That's the template I built this with, essentially allowing you to have a incredible developer experience regarding the UI components. So as you can see, the components UI, there's a lot of stuff here. They've been developed really nicely. Now I added some of these myself. For example, the file input, that's something I did, or the image upload. I extended the project by that, but most of them, like the label, menu bar, and also the tooltip that you saw in the application right here, the available soon tooltip, that is all done already, and you can really nicely expand on this if you decide to fork this GitHub repo specifically, or the template, because all the components are already in there for you to use. So just for a very brief overview, so you get the general idea, we're using NextJS 13. We're exporting the metadata from the main page. Because they changed that, the head is about to be deprecated, and so now you use the metadata. There's some very simple styling involved. This is a server component, by the way. We've got the file input, the main component you can see right here, the big file input that's very hard to miss, and then the button with the tooltip. So you can see the syntax for these UI components is really clean, makes it very easy to expand on. Then one more thing is the layout, because in the layout you handle a bit of stuff. Now this head doesn't really work, so I can just get rid of that. However, we've got the toaster, so the toast notifications work. So if you upload an image that is too large, let me show you what happens. We get a custom toast notification saying that something went wrong, please try again later. And that also works for different scenarios that you want to handle. It's a custom hook called use toast that we can just call like the normal npm toast libraries that you know, but it looks way better and you can handle all the logic in there yourself, which is the big advantage using this custom hook. We've got the site header and then a tooltip provider that we depend on to be able to actually show the tooltip. And that's it. This, we can get rid of that import. This layout is also a server component. So we're following a bunch of good Next.js 13 rules to handle this application. I'm going to put the link in the description and the comments if you want to check it out. Now, I might have to take it offline if there are too many requests. I'm not sure, because Replicate has a limit on how much free stuff you can use from them. Because it is, let me show you that. It is dependent on how long your requests run. So as you can see, for each request, the API has a time, so 0.4 seconds, for example, and then you get billed based on that time. So yeah, make sure to check it out if you are in for that. I know the URL looks like it's a virus, but it's open source. You can verify that yourself. And I hope you enjoy it, and let me know what you think, if that is actually a quality improvement, a quality of life improvement for SEO. That's all I wanted to share. Thank you very much for watching. I'm looking forward to your comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, and bye bye.